Okay, so we've got two kinds of chop saws. One that just goes straight down. Both the chop saws work essentially the same. Here's a good example of one that was not trimmed first. And here's an example of one that was trimmed first. Nice and square, instead of having a gap. Of all the wood we receive, 100% of it is not square. That angle does not match up to a perfect 90 degrees when we get it. So let's say you measure from the top here, 10 inches. That's gonna be shorter than if you measure from the bottom over 10 inches. Well, first things first, how do we hold this? Is this correct? No.
Firmly grasp it in your hand.
Is this correct? No.
Firmly grasp it.
We need it down on the table tight. Then we also need it up tight against the fence. But uh-oh, see that gap right there? That means we still need to push it even tighter up against the fence.
Firmly grasp it.
There shouldn't be any gap between this wood and this metal. It might be tempting because there's this gap, so you might want to push it down. But oh no, look what happened to our square. Now there's a bunch of air gaps, which is going to cause it to... So you need to push against the metal to hold it tight. Otherwise there's going to be these air gaps, which will cause it to flick out of place. Down, up against my fence, nice and tight.
That ought to do it.
Okay, again, you need to have your fingers at least 4 inches away, but you don't want to put your hand way out here, or else it's not going to be stable. I like using these as markers. These really help me determine that's about where I want my hand placement to be. So, to turn on the saw, there's a safety feature. You've got to push that to the side and then squeeze the trigger. Okay, here's too fast. And even too slow will make your blade and wood burn. Nice thing is, this is a great marker right where the saw blade is going to cut. You can even turn on this light to provide a shadow where the saw blade is going to cut. Really don't need to cut off much more than that. All right, now I can make my measurement. If I had measured before and did my trim cut, guess what? That's gonna be shorter than it's supposed to be. So if this is the side that I just trimmed, I'm now gonna measure from my trimmed side. Now, if you're measuring from right to left, you gotta be on your toes, because here's 12, but there's 11. So it's very common for someone to say, oh, 12 3/4. Nope, that's actually not right. What you want to do is say 12 3/4, right? I know here's 12, here's 13. So I want 12 inches and 3/4. That's very tight against the fence. I'm going to move that shadow until it lines right up with the edge of my mark. That way my good side is going to be right at the perfect length. Boom, right on the money. So I'm trying to cut 2 sides that are 23 inches long and 3 shelves that are 12 3/4 inch long. So to get my 2 sides, I'm going to trim, measure 23, cut another 23-inch piece. Again, don't make the mistake of pre-measuring your pieces without trimming them first. Otherwise, they're going to be that much shorter when you try to cut it to size. Tight against the fence and the table. Then I'm going to measure my 23 inches. No, don't do that. Don't do that, right? Don't cross your arms. Very bad. Okay, if you need to swap hands, make sure to do that too for whichever way you're cutting. Now I could measure this, or if I just line up my newly cut side with my 23-inch piece, I can mark it like this to make sure that I've got the same measurement. Now this we call a square. It helps us check and make sure that every angle on our board is a perfect 90 degrees. However, we also call this thing a square. Why? Well, it can help us do the same thing. It can help us mark a measurement at a square angle, a perfect 90. The other angle we use quite a lot is a 45. So if I wanted to mark my 45 right there, that's why a speed square is commonly used, because we can use both of those measurements, either a 90 or we can also mark a 45. So to change the angle on the sliding chop saw, you need to make sure this is up and you press your thumb in on that button. It should automatically stop once you reach close to 45. Hear that snap? That means it's there. Okay? You can lock that in place too if you want. Then again, to move it back, lift this up, push that in with your thumb. When you're close to 0, you should feel it click in place. The non-sliding chop saw is very similar. Make sure this is up. Then you've got a squeeze trigger down at the bottom called a detent. That will lock you into the main angles, including a 45. Okay, once it's locked in, you can push that down. This is how we're going to cut the angles on the molding for your clock. It might take some practice, but that's how we get those nice 45-degree corners to align. It might take some practice, but that's how we get those 45-degree corners to align.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!